Hey loves, Chad Putman here with my next episode in my series, Sex Positive. So I took a week off last weekend because I was traveling with my Tantra mentor for a Thai massage training weekend. And then this past Saturday, I got to facilitate my first full Tantra men's shared massage workshop in Tampa, and it was amazing. So that was a big week to get through, and I'm so grateful to my mentor, to all the folks that came and trusted me in that experience, and then what they shared about what they gained and shared with each other through that experience. So just hitting the reset button yesterday and recalibrating, and here I am with you today. And it happens to be Monday, also my day off, and I wanted to make sure that I got back on and continued my series of Sex Positive, which I feel is just really important to have very frank, honest, real conversations that are unapologetic about my sex life, about sex life in general, about sex, intimacy, connection, the world that we all live in, that many of us are never talking about or having conversations about. So my goal in doing these and my intention in doing these videos is really to help spark conversation, dialogue, and to encourage you to not only be honest with yourself, but to find loved ones and friends and chosen people in your life that you can sit and have frank conversations and ask real questions. And certainly I'm available to you too. If you ever want to just reach out, drop me an email or a text message or a direct message online through one of the apps, feel free. We are on this journey together, and hate for you to feel alone. So, okay? All right. So today I am doing this all about apps. Apps are pretty much a hot topic right now for a variety of reasons, right? So you have all of the Twitter/X conversation with Elon Musk and the president and all of that craziness. You have Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook and what's happening there. And when you come into the gay dating world, right, the MSM, the men who have sex with men, bisexual, transgender community, talking about the apps. I was just actually looking through a recent publication of Out magazine, and there's an article in there about apps, and at the close of the article they actually talked about like the guy decided to delete all of his apps. So I'm not just talking like general social media apps, but dating apps like Grindr and Scruff and Sniffies. So I think this is a very pertinent conversation, and I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm actually going to read through my different profiles because I think having frank conversations about how I'm soliciting or connecting or reaching out to try and engage with other men is important part of my sexual health. And we're doing it. Many of us, not everybody, but many people are doing it. So why not have a conversation about it? So I want to have that kind of truthful conversation, but also, so read through my profile, talk about some of the meanings that are used and some of the abbreviations, what that means for folks that may not be as familiar with the apps and what they're seeing on the apps and etc. And then also closing out with just some conversation around safety, how my life has been impacted by hooking up and dating on the apps around chemsex. And also, just really looking out for yourself and being mindful for me that if I'm choosing to get on the app and I'm looking for somebody to hook up with, am I looking to hook up with them because I want to escape from a feeling, a situation, I'm bored, I'm craving something, or am I really looking to go connect with somebody and have kind of an intimate experience? Or do I just want to get my rocks off, right? So just really nothing wrong with any of those reasons, but to be mindful, right? It's about being mindful and having intention. So I want to start with my Grindr app, which is probably the most popular. I will just rewind for a minute because I think it's important for me to share that my husband and I, over 20 years ago, met on gay.com. That was a thing, gay.com. And that's how we met. So I've also met many other cool people on apps and had very brief encounters and engagements with them. And then some folks I've maintained friendships. But overall, I would say it's kind of rare that I maintain long-lasting relationships with people that I do connect with on the apps. But he was a special one. So it is possible, it does happen, but that was gay.com back in the day. So aside from that, slipping forward to the future, let's talk about Grindr and my Grindr profile. Okay, so I'm just gonna read through my profile and then it'll dig up some other stuff that we can chat about. So I have my name on my Grindr profile is Sub Bottom. So as you go through this with me today, you're gonna see that I very much present as a submissive bottom, which the more sober I get, the more I tend to fall into being a little bit more dom top. But when I am more in like a, I don't know, caretaking state, I guess, I just tend to just want to fall into this submissive bottom role. So I don't know, I'm still working through it. And again, it's about recognizing and exploring my intentions. So that's my profile name in Grindr is submissive bottom. Looking to connect, get zen, and play hard. In St. Pete, available to travel. I'm interested in dom tops, which is very true. I do like that. I say couples play, but I tend not to do that, even though I have that in my profile. I don't know. Mostly a bottom, looking to please and satisfy a top. So that's a conversation for therapy, yeah? So it's one thing to, want to go and please and be with a top and satisfy them. But then when I'm neglecting my own needs and not getting off myself, I find that continues to inspire me to hook up even more. So I have learned that by taking some time with whoever I'm hooking up with and also completing, right, ejaculating as part of that connection, that I'm less likely to jump right into the next hookup. So that's just some awareness that I've had as a result of this. So mostly a bottom looking to please and satisfy a top. Again, therapy conversation. Into bondage, anonymous, and kink. So a little bit about that. So bondage, so I was first introduced to BDSM in my early 20s when I first got sober with this sober dude in Binghamton. And he literally tied me up, put me in like a door casing, like tied up in a door casing, and had an extremely good time with me. And I experienced things that I'd never experienced before, including like nipple clamps, ball weights, spanking, slapping. He videotaped the whole thing. He was definitely an older daddy, dom top, and it like set a template in my body that I'll never forget. And it was extraordinary and I loved it. And, I don't get to have those experiences a lot, but it's certainly, leatherworks. It's part of my MO. I do enjoy that kind of thing. And I would say probably the last good dom top that I had was, gosh, this guy must have been in his probably 70s recently. And so I would go to his apartment or his condo and literally put on a blindfold. So that's that anonymous part, right? Like, so we connected via the profile, but I get there, I get inside, I put on a blindfold, and then he comes and starts to engage with me, and it includes, bondage, being tied up, and slowly transitioning to his bed. And so he actually was the dude that started to introduce fisting into my world, which is an evolution, let me tell you. But conversation maybe for another day. But yeah, so then we would finish and he would actually, I don't even think he ever ejaculated, but I did. And then he would just disappear and he'd give me a towel to go take a shower and get cleaned up, and then I would leave. So that's an example of both BDSM and anonymous hookup, which can be pretty hot, but again, safety, right? We'll talk more about that at the end. And the kinky stuff. I'm definitely a little kinky guy. Like, I do enjoy my kink. So, that anonymous piece is kinky. The hooking up with somebody that's 20 years older than me, I think is hot. The role playing part, right? The dad son kind of thing, right? I do like being with younger men too, so like that's fun because now I'm 50. So sometimes I'm being sought out by 20, 30 year olds. I don't tend to hook up with many 20-year-olds, more so in their 30s. But yeah. All right, so Wet and Wild I also have here. Wet and Wild, yeah. So water sports, for those of you that don't know. So if you've never been peed on, I mean, I don't know if you can have an opinion about it, right? So that might be controversial, but I'm just saying, like, to get in the shower and have a couple dudes like just pee on you in the shower and to feel that warmth, maybe a little bit hits your lips, whatever, I don't know. It does, and it's okay. I think it's hot and it gets me going, but not for everybody. And again, that's certainly a kink that I think some people are interested in exploring, but a lot of folks feel uncomfortable about asking or communicating or exploring that with somebody. So I put it in my profile, and then sometimes other people who are interested in it. And I honestly haven't been peed on in quite a while. So for better or worse, I don't know. What else do I have? I have, so that's where I talked about my kinks, Wet and Wild, Fist Virgin, which I just mentioned. Like, I have actually gotten a fist. Somebody has gotten a fist twice inside of me, which I never thought would be possible, but it is possible. It's a whole next level, but we'll do a video on that someday, okay? Hooking up with couples. Again, I don't do that a lot, but I don't know. This time is flying by. It's already been 11 minutes since I've been chatting with you. So let me just read. So I just talked about try me, new limits, love to explore new things. I don't host. I live with my husband, and although we have an open polyamorous relationship, I don't bring people to the house. And so I'm usually traveling to go and connect with other people. Other tags that I have is BB, which is bareback. So conversation about being on prep, safety, WS for water sports, kink, anonymous, leather, submissive, bondage, oral, adventurous. So my status, and then you get into your stats about tall, short, thin, some hair, well, hair too, right? And then like my status around the last time I got tested. So I just got tested last week at the end of January, and everything came back good. So staying on my prep, switching over to Descovy, and gonna have the pill that you take after exposure. Oh my God, I'm totally blanking on it, but it will come to me later, and I'll message it, or I'll post it in the chat part. Yeah, what is that? Anyhow. So putting those things, you'll see them in the profile, and I think it's important to communicate that stuff about the last time you got tested, about you taking care of yourself, knowing who you're hooking up with, and also, you know, just open communication and being frank and honest about this. We're having sex, so let's talk about that because we're exchanging fluids, likely. My scruff profile actually is my name so up until the age of 4, my name was Rarin, actually. So I was Chad from the age of 4 until ta-da. And then when I was born, from 0 to 4, my name was Rarin. And so for what I use that as my scruff. And that's a much older profile. I'd gotten off Grindr for quite a while, and now I've gotten back on it as of late, but then scruff was like my go-to way back when I was in upstate New York, and I've gotten off it, but I just actually re-downloaded it last night just to read through my profile, and I've been getting hit up today because I'm the new face today's, right? So but I don't know, I'm not feeling it today. I'm just chilling. So my stats being that I'm 6'2", I'm 160 pounds, I'm slim, I have some hair here and here. My hashtags being a bottom, kinky, daddy, either I'm a daddy or there's a daddy, submissiveness, jocks, dudes next door. So just kind of, you know, casual dudes, right? No particular demographic. I love variety. I love, oh my gosh, yes, please. So variety is the spice of life. It's beautiful. All right, and you know, I say I'm looking for friends. I don't know that I'm necessarily looking for friends. Definitely looking for random hookups, and also friends. I don't know. It's kind of nice. I love meeting new people, and I'll be completely frank that like hooking up on the apps gives me the opportunity to randomly experience a sexual encounter with somebody that I don't ever know, and it's always so unique and different. Like it's never the same. So I love that about apps. I mentioned that I'm poly and that I also enjoy hooking up with new dudes. So poly, for those of you that don't know, it just means that like I'm cool with like loving and engaging and being inspired with lots of different men, and people in general. But poly just means that I don't feel necessarily tied down to just commitment to one loving person, right? And not that I'm getting on the apps to find love, but that I can share love, right? I can connect with somebody. And what I've learned in Tantra is that it's not so much just about the jerking off, the sucking, and the fucking, but it's also about like just that shared intimacy and slowing down and kissing and hugging and just being present with each other and just having that time. It's beautiful. I mean, that we get to have sex in life is amazing. Orgasm, my sponsor when I first got sober originally, he called an orgasm like it was a German word for little death, like this just little, like just this little, like imagine like just a little firework, right? It's amazing. We love it. We do love it. We just don't talk about it very much. All right. So a newer app that I found that some folks, and I just started doing when I got down here, and this is a cautious one because this is definitely more people looking to hook up immediately. Also, folks that are looking to engage and connect in places probably where they shouldn't be connecting, right? As far as society is concerned. But so that's not my thing, but people are into that. And if that's your deal, that's cool. Just be careful and be safe. But so Sniffies, which, if you look it up wrong, oh, my fireplace just ended. That's sad. Let me just hit my fireplace again. Ah! Oh no. How do we go back? There we go. Gotta keep the fireplace crackling. You know what I mean? I mean, I love a good fireplace. Anyways. So Sniffies is all about this map, right? So now instead of just getting the general distance that somebody might be from you on an app, because usually whether it's Scruff or Grindr, you get a sense that, all right, that person's a half a mile from me or they're 10 miles from me or whatever. You get a sense of like the distance. But when you're on Sniffies, I was looking it up as Sniffles for the longest time, and I was like, I don't see this thing. Like, I don't. But it is on the web, and there is an app for it. So again, cautious walking into this world. So now you're on a map. So when I go on Sniffies and I'm on the map, I can see like 4 blocks that way and 3 blocks that way, and up there closer to downtown St. Pete. Like there's all of these profiles. And so the difference between the profile pictures that you'll find on Grindr or Scruffy, which I think there's limitations on what Grindr and Sniffy or Grindr and Scruff does as far as like what you can have as your profile picture, and then you can share private pictures that are more like cocks and asses. Sniffies is literally a map with penises, asses, and chests, right? Like that's the world. Like, so when I go on the map and I look, like there's 3 cocks over here and there's a couple asses over here, and then you have my chest picture. Like, it's really wild. So, and editorially, when I think about that, or getting onto a map and looking around and potentially connecting with and engaging with somebody who initially intrigued us based on their cock picture, right? Their penis and or their ass and or their chest, right? The objectification of that, the fantasy of various penis sizes. I'm sure many of you have seen my last video on my penis and my relationship with my penis. So I choose not to put my penis as my profile picture, and I don't put my ass, even though I identify as a bottom, first bottom. I put my ass or my chest just because I feel like I'd rather just lean into it, I guess, than start with my ass. I don't know. I'm not judging anybody. I love what I see out there. But I think it's just kind of fascinating when you think about our culture and that we literally have a map with cocks and penises and we're like hooking up. Anywho, profile pictures. So that's that. Yeah. So in Sniffies, there's much shorter profile situation, basically getting back into stats. I'm not shy about my age. Some people don't list it, but the fact that I'm 49, like, boom, right? That's just a fact. So I'm just going to share that because I'm not going to hide it. And now I'm going to be 50 this year. So if people are into that, that's cool. If they're not, they're not. And then I get a lot of times people are like, oh my God, you're like 49. I'm like, yeah, I'm 49. So I'm just grateful for my genetics that, it all worked out this way and I still kind of look young. But yeah, I do not lie about my age. I do also mention on Sniffies that I'm a submissive bottom, that I like to travel. Okay, this is where it's going to get a little bit more grand, right? Okay. I love to suck penis, right? I talked about penis. So for me, again, I'll make sure I'll put a disclaimer on it sharing this video, but if you want to stop now, feel free, because it's going to get a little more intense. So feel free to jump off if you don't want to listen anymore. But anyways, I am honest about the fact in my Scruffy or my Sniffies profile that I do enjoy sucking cock. Like, I just really do. It's one of those pleasurable things in life. It's like getting a massage, but it's not. It's like just being able to do that with somebody else is awesome. Kinks. I talk about kinks, BDSM again, bondage, water sports, edging is always fun. I'm into oral all day, right? Love that. Can do that for quite a while. Also anonymous in this profile too. And then this idea of come and go, right? Like this idea that I give oral sex to a guy, he ejaculates, and I leave. That's it. That is a thing. And I don't mind it. It's kind of cool. But again, flipping back to original intention and why I'm hooking up that day. And then also that I'm into bareback. I really don't like to use condoms. I can't stay hard in a condom. I'm not here to make excuses, and I want everybody to engage in safe sex and take care of them. But for me, I feel that my protection that I use is, and also as a bottom, that I'm not having other people do condoms. I mean, if they want to put on a condom, that's great. Like, I'm not going to tell somebody they can't use a condom. But I, like to be on my prep and, have that as my protection. So, and I talk about my status and my last testing dates. And then we're going to be wrapping up this video in just a few minutes. But this is also, Sniffies is nice that it gives you the opportunity to put no P&P. And for those of you that don't know what that means, P&P means party and play. So that's chemsex, right? So that's what I'm in recovery with right now, is that this idea that people are looking to find partners who want to come over, hang out, use drugs such as crystal meth, G, ecstasy or Molly, and then have sex for hours. And so that's my whole story, right? Is like when I was 47, I was on an app in upstate New York, and I met someone who was using meth, and I didn't even know what it was. And I met them on the app. We connected. They got in my car. They were smoking. I thought they were smoking vape. I don't know. Everybody vapes, right? But turns out it was meth. And eventually I ended up, in the hotel rooms and using meth and having sex, and just really fucked up my world in a good way at the end of the day, but also didn't know that like implosion was going to happen in my life either. So Sniffies gives you the option to put no party and play, which I'm going to be frank that people don't necessarily pay attention to that or care, but it's something that relates to self-care, that it's imperative that you be very mindful that at any point, if I'm going to engage with somebody and show up at their house, they could have anything and anything happening, right? So they could have other people there, they could have other drugs that I don't want to be using. They might be using drugs, and then I'm in a situation where I got to be like, no, I don't want to use that. And being a person that's in recovery, it's best for me not to be in those situations, even though I feel very strong in my commitment not to use drugs today, especially around chemsex. I am very vulnerable when I'm around it for other people, because then it's like, well, maybe it wouldn't be so bad, right? It's just a couple hours, and then the tape starts playing, but it's never going to be okay. Not for me. So it's just something to really, really think about. And if you have never been exposed to chemsex or meth or Molly, and somebody does introduce that to you, there's a very good likelihood that it's going to be through a connection that you do on the apps. It just seems to be the reality of the apps these days, is that it's very casual for folks to be bringing in. I mean, poppers are basically like, you want to drink of water? Oh, here's a bottle of poppers. And for those of you that don't know what poppers is basically like, I think it used to be like VCR cleaner, and you would just like inhale it in your nose and it gives you this like 30-second high, which I shared in a previous video. I don't like to do because it gives me headaches. But yeah, so it's just part of our casual sexual life these days, as far as men having sex with men, and self-care, right? Look after yourself. So there, blew over my 15-minute timer. I'm now at 25, pushing 30 minutes. But I hope that this conversation about me going through and talking about the different apps that I've been involved in, about my sex life and how I engage with it, I think it's, helpful and important for me to have this frank and honest conversation, but also to help spark conversation among others. So, feel free to share, like, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be having more conversations about sex positive, and I got a lot of cool things that are coming up. End of March, I'm headed to Costa Rica again. I'm going to a sex shaman workshop, which I'm super excited about. But in the meantime, doing a lot of different things, continuing my Tantra work with folks, and just growing spiritually. And after this, I'm going to go for a run and do my exercises and then connect with some people this afternoon. So I just want to say much love. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and love you, appreciate you, and have a beautiful day. All right, bye.